Welcome today, tonight, wherever you are, to a very special episode of Global Card Collectors. This is number 100 for us, and we were just talking about it before, and I can't believe we've done 100 of these things.
It's amazing, man. It's almost 2 years. Like it's just under 2 years of recording episodes of the card show, or of this show.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we started banking episodes maybe in December 2 years ago, and then kind
Hmm.
of launched in January, something like that.
Hmm.
And maybe we banked like five or six to start, which was kind of brilliant. Really got us going.
Yeah.
I do recommend that for anyone if they're starting out. If
So what do you think about being a podcaster, mate? Like, let's just get into that kind of question. What do you think? What's it like being a podcaster and having your own podcast? Like, it's not exactly a big one, but we've got one.
no, no. I mean, I do think it's. I mean, it's funny. My kids are like, "Are you a YouTuber?" Like, like that's what kids these days are putting on their, what I want to be when I grow up forums.
Yeah, right.
You probably see that too.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's kind of fun to actually be like, yeah, I guess I am, What's it like? It's really like nothing or something. I don't know. It's just fun to, I don't want to get kind of like high or something about this or at the beginning, but it's just kind of fun, and I don't really feel anything about it. I like to talk. I have a PhD. I like to. Will, you actually came to a talk of mine last week.
I did.
I've been a professor before. You're a teacher. I like talking. I like, having an audience. So this came naturally. My talk was about energy politics. So this is a different venue here for us. But yeah, I like it. I don't know. You?
I really like it too. I like it for a number of different reasons. I think the skills that it helps you to build as a content creator. So I've tried making shorts for the channel. Putting all of the videos together was a challenge to begin with, but now it's old hat. Making thumbnails, doing all sorts of little jobs like writing descriptions, but also just, I guess, approaching complete strangers and asking them if they want to join you on a podcast. Like, I think to begin with, both you and I got a bit emotional. Like you and I are quite emotional guys, really. But we
Yeah.
got a bit upset when people would say no or would ghost us and would moan and complain offline. But I think that rejection or those constant rejections just kind of developed pretty quickly with us a thicker skin because we're like, well, we've got to find someone else. So, okay, let's just forget that person and go on to the next one. And not that we kind of took it personally that they rejected us in some ways. Initially, I think we kind of did. For being honest, we kind of did. Like it was like, oh, I didn't really like that. Oh, why didn't he respond to me or that sort of thing? But
There
I
was
guess
one.
you want,
Sorry to interrupt. You remember that one
yeah.
guy I actually kind of went back at? I was like, "Well, I guess you're just not interested, huh?" And then he's like, "Well, don't get offensive." Anyway,
But it's a learning curve, and I
yeah,
think it's something that I've understood pretty quickly that not everybody wants to take that risk of putting themselves out there and putting themselves online. And I get it. And initially I was nervous about it, but now you'll see that I'm all over the place on this YouTube channel of ours that, now 500 people watch, and I keep kind of underselling that, but it's something and it's fun. And I'm enjoying being able to do it. And I think if I were to ever make a different channel or try something else, I would have complete confidence in being able to do it. Not that this is a perfect channel by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of things we can improve, but it's like you said, it's so much fun. And I think my favorite thing is being able to make friends in the card collecting community. Like it's opened so many different doors for me as a collector. And I guess that's kind of what we want to chat about a little bit today too.
yeah, yeah. I think it does teach you. I mean, I think anything in life you got to sell yourself. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter what it is, and so you get some skills at that. You learn, yeah, resiliency, flexibility, how to, come up with an episode when you need to.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know. I really couldn't have done this without you. That's very much for sure.
Mhm.
You're just complete dominance of the video side of everything and kind of production side. Not that hard to learn to put together a podcast. We have help of some software that cleans it up, and but you've been just incredible. And I don't, I know couldn't have done the YouTube part of it without you, and just kept it going for 2 years. No way.
Yeah.
But if you're passionate about something, you'll be able to sell it because it's fun to talk about it. So, I think that's, I would encourage anyone to start one. Who cares? Like, you've really got nothing to lose and it's fun.
Yeah, and I think what worked well for us was that we were both in this together. So if there were weeks where I couldn't get anybody, you would push extra hard to kind of get somebody else. And I feel like that accountability to a friend also worked in our favor as well. Like we were definitely encouraging one another, and we'd be able to vent when things didn't work out or something technological went wrong, all those sorts of things. It's been fun, man. I've really enjoyed the journey of almost 2 years. And to say today that we have 513 subscribers on YouTube, we just got over 5,000 downloads on Spotify and other podcast platforms. It's really cool for us. And obviously, these numbers are tiny compared to these big channels, but that's not what the purpose is. But it's still very nice, and there's definitely some affirmation and just hearing those numbers and how many people have listened to us and watched us, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, we obviously all want to thank anyone who's spent any time, you know, giving us attention, and your attention. Your time is valuable, and that even just 500 people subscribed, or 50 people listened to an episode, that means that they found it valuable enough, and that just gives total validation to me, us, that at least even if one just listens, honestly, it's some validation. So
Agreed.
um, I don't know. We kind of want to shout out some people today, a bit selectively. We're not going to list everyone we've had on, but um, certainly very, very thankful to the people who have taken the time to come on. What do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so what I ended up doing in preparation for this episode was just making a list of all of the episodes that we've had and just looking at the different guests that we've had. And initially I was thinking we should thank everybody, but I think you've convinced me and it's the right move. It's just going to basically come out as a list of this is what we did in episode 1 and 2 and 3. And it's not going to be, I think, as natural as I would like it. But what I will say by reading through that list is just seeing the diverse amount of people we've had on the show from all sorts of countries all around the world, talking about all sorts of different topics. And it's just been a lot of fun. Like I'm already planning on listening back to some of the episodes that we recorded a year or two ago. Like it's worth it, I think, just to hear the points of view of a whole bunch of different people, from a guy called Shannon who became really good friends with a legendary WWE wrestler to, people like Steve Guinea who spent his time explaining how to start a card show, a big card show, or going to PCG grading and talking to Rob about how you start a grading company. So there's lots of different people who I think I've learned a bunch from. Plenty from New Zealand, but plenty from around the world as well. So it was fun to look through that list. I think you and I even just messaged back and forth going, that list is fun. It was fun to look at.
It really was, yeah. And I think you kind of made the point of previously, just previous what you said about just, I mean, how much we gained from this.
Yeah.
It's just really, I mean, it's not even, I mean, anyone can listen to the podcast, but by actually doing it with them, it takes on a new meaning, and you kind of, a resonance with you, I guess, that I feel, I mean, I've definitely been shaped by our guests. I mean, there's
Yes.
no doubt.
Yeah.
It's almost
No
like kind of
doubt.
embarrassing how influence how easily I can be influenced or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know where to start, to be honest. I mean, just made some really, really, it's just nice to have people that I call friends now.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like Dave, Iowa Dave, he's in my fantasy basketball league with you now too.
Hmm.
Keith is also in there. Keith and Nathaniel. Keith got me started with podcasting. Actually, I did my first kind of sports, and it was cards with him too. But then we would go into sports and such, and then with him, I got to do finally my fantasy basketball episode. And Nathaniel was part of that too. And Nathaniel's been like, I mean, we still are in touch probably several times a week sharing. I just sent him a Ron Harper. Maybe I won't say the card because he's going to bid on it and go for it. But I mean, we're sharing cards, talking cards all the time. Like John from Spain, like we're in touch often. I think he's going to come on next week with you as well. And these are kind of the friends I feel like I've made, which is or just like it's amazing. I'm 47. Like it's not easy to make friends the older you get in life.
Yeah.
And we all have college friends and high school friends and stuff like that, but to make friends later through cards is just amazing. It's like priceless as a guy, when you have families and jobs and everything else, like you just need your time to, you know, be yourself and all that. But this is just a great space to you guys. We both all enjoy cards, so we can talk about it and hang out, and then it's easy friendships, like really easy. Yeah.
I completely agree, man. And I can go all the way back to I think it was episode 4. So I think, in fact, it might have been episode 5 because 1, 2, and 3 was like, let's introduce the show. One, you interview me. The next one, I interviewed you, and then we interviewed our friend Beck, and we've talked about Beck countless times, who is a very close friend of ours, and we're organizing card shows with him and planning to try and build the Turkish card collecting community with him. So he's a big piece of this channel as well. But episode 5 for me was, I think, the one that really helped me settle back into life into New Zealand for the 18 or 19 months that I was there. And it was with Justin. He was the first person I reached out to. And he was a much bigger deal than I understood when when he agreed to come on the channel. And in fact, what ended up happening was I was visiting his city. His city is in Christchurch in New Zealand. And I ended up basically going over to his house, sharing a couple of beers with him, and recording our conversation. That was episode 5 of the show. And his love of rugby cards is unprecedented. It's just, he knows so much about them. He gets excited like a giddy kid when he sees new cards, and it's so much fun to open cards with him. There's even a video of me and him doing that in New Zealand, and I had such a blast doing it with him. And I think when you find people that have that common interest, that common love, or that common passion about something, to be able to share that with them is a bunch of fun. Like you and I opening up boxes together is just a blast. And it's not even about the cards that you get in many ways. It's about the excitement of pulling something and congratulating one another. Like when I pulled the Magic Bird dual auto, or when we pulled the one of one John Wall card. Like not that John was a big deal, but it's our first one of one we've ever pulled. It was nuts, man. And so meeting Justin first was amazing because he basically convinced me very quickly, very easily to join the New Zealand card collecting community. There's a group, and in fact, for those people who are Kiwis, you should definitely join this group. They send out a quarterly magazine where the members of the club write articles about things that have been interesting them in cards, and then every year they have this big card show. And so Justin was my first contact in New Zealand for basically getting into the card collecting community. And then when I went to that first card show, the New Zealand Card Collectors Show, it was over for me. It was I was sold, mate. And I got to meet another guy, Steve Summers, the guy who organized the show, and such a lovely, fantastic guy who literally before the show invited me to go to his house. We had a couple of drinks together. He showed me his collection. There was a whole bunch of collectors in that community together, and it's just I think a big piece of being a card collector is if you can find your people, if you can find a community that works for you, it makes it so much more rewarding because you can talk about the cards that you like. You can talk about the cards that you're chasing. You can just have fun together, and you know that you just are going to be spending time with people with shared interests.
Yeah, for me, your Justin episode, that episode 5 it was like innocent, like the most
Yeah.
innocent of episodes.
Oh, it's great.
And he's probably the most elderly guest we've had on the show, but probably the most young about cards at heart, right? And
Amazing.
you like went to his place, and I don't know, it was that was really a special one, kind of, and we were just starting and kind of, I don't know, naive and I don't know, full of
Yeah, for sure.
idealism and all these things.
Well, that was literally that same weekend I picked up my gold Jonah Lomu card, probably the most valuable card in my collection.
Right.
And when I picked it up, it was literally about a 15-minute drive from Justin's house. And I picked it up that same day and I took it over to his house. And when I showed it to him, you should have seen his face, just giddy. He was like, "Oh my God, it was you. You got it. I couldn't believe it. Oh my God, I was watching that auction and it was exciting." And I was like, "Oh, dude, this is we're gonna become fast friends." But yeah, he was great. And it was I think it was just something that we needed to kickstart us and to help us believe that, you know what, if we reach out to a bunch of strangers, sooner or later, they're going to hopefully become guests on our show. We can learn a little bit about their world of card collecting. And I think that's been great for me to learn about like other card markets. Like if I think about Pang Ming or Revi from the Asian card market, like Revi, like a legend in the Filipino card collecting community, had that amazing Tim Duncan collection. And literally, I think he had an autograph of every single Hall of Famer bar Pete Maravich. So he had a Jordan auto, a LeBron auto. He had all of these Hall of Fame legendary basketball players. Every single one of them, he picked up an auto over theirs. And then he had a Duncan card collection as well. And Pang Ming, the ex-finance guy who became a card collecting investor, just a more recent episode, but one that I think about a lot in terms of what I need to do with my collection and the long chat that I've been having about consolidation. And I've started consolidating slowly my card collection.
Yeah, you've been doing that ever since I met you,
Yeah.
which was when exactly? How long before we started the podcast? I feel like
Oh, probably
about a
about 8 months
year.
to a year. Yeah, eight
Yeah,
months to a year. Hmm.
because you left what time of year? January, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah, I feel like we met because we took some questions for this episode, but I feel like this just came to mind to bring it up to kind of remind how we met.
Hmm.
Um, you you asked a question on sports cards nonsense,
That's right.
and Jesse, the guy, is like, it's like, yeah, next question's from Cart Adami, and I'm like, wait, Cart Adami, that's Turkish, like
Yeah,
literally, and so look you up on Instagram and just float you a message, and then you write back pretty quickly thereafter, like leaving me voice messages, like let's hang out, like and I'm like yes, and then we just it was like such a relief to find someone in the flesh. You were the first like card collector in the flesh I had met, so um, that happened probably about a year before we started the podcast.
that's right. That's right. And I think what another lesson from that is I wasn't even thinking about opening up an Instagram page. Like I was like, I'm too old to open up an Instagram page, but it's really been worth it because you make connections. Like that's how I met back as well. Like he found me on Instagram because I'd been posting about cards and, using translations to do some Turkish posts as well, because just to see if there are any other card collectors around. And it's worked out great, man. So if people are listening and they are a little bit reticent to opening up an Instagram page, I'd definitely recommend it. You don't have to post too much, but a couple of cards would be nice just so that people can know what you're collecting. And then basically just start finding people who share similar interests with you. And it's been really cool. I really like Instagram for that.
Yeah, I mean, I was always looking for kind of Balkan card collectors, and I mean that's how I found Milan,
Hmm.
Serbian sports card collector, and he came on. That guy, like, so impressive. I mean, he's Serbian, but I can't remember if he when he moved to Germany, but he's very much spent a lot of his life in Germany. So his English wasn't like great, but had the balls to just come on and do it. I think Fran also, soccer sticker
Brand too.
hunter. Like these guys, like where English is not, it's a struggle. Like I would probably chicken out to do something in Turkish. That's not true, actually. I've gone on TV in Turkish, but anyway, I do respect these guys who do it. Yeah,
Totally,
quite a bit.
totally. Yeah,
Uh,
anybody else that you wanna shout out in
I
your
mean,
list of guests?
yeah, I mean, Jamie, I really doubt he's listening. Um, he's too young, and he knows he's not going to learn anything from us. And uh, and I think he's got a new girlfriend too, so he's enjoying himself. I'm happy for him. But he's been like a mentor, you know. He's a kid in his 20s, you know, a British guy, and he's like a mentor to me in cards, which is awesome. You know, really nice in Germany, you know, face to face, and kind of, you know, he was just, you know, sharing his knowledge. He's come on 3, 4 times, you know, just got nothing for it. Just enjoyed talking to that guy. Great guy. Um, I guess I also want to shout out Joey, Sack Kings Cards.
Yeah, nice.
Uh, Hoping to maybe he's in LA, but hoping maybe we'll all kind of meet. Either I'll meet him there, or get together some Kings fans in Sacramento, card collecting fans, when I go in January. So, yeah, I mean, super awesome guy. I Hoops Hobby Hangout. I recommend his pod. It's if you like basketball cards, hard not to like it.
Yeah, cool. I'll shout out a couple of people myself too. I've got three that I can think of right now. One is Steve Guinea. He is another Steve. It's funny that there's a whole bunch of
A lot of
Justins and
Steves, yeah.
Steves. Steve and Justin seem to be card collectors. Anyway, Steve Guinea is the guy who runs the Auckland Card Show and is going to be having a card show this weekend, I think. So he's really just kind of taken that New Zealand card collecting community and just kind of doubled it, tripled it, quadrupled it because he puts on such a good show. And I've learned a whole bunch from him. Even with the small shows that we've made, I feel like I would have the confidence and the ability to be able to run a bigger show here in Istanbul. And so I'm already talking about that a little bit with Barrick, and we'll see how we go. Maybe it's a possibility. But someone like Steve is definitely a fun person to have as a contact because I know that if I do want to run a show that size, I'll be basically bending his ear a bunch, and I know that he'll help me out as much as he can too, because that's the kind of person he is. So definitely a shout out to Steve. I want to shout out SWAT team cards to our friend Ben as well, who came on
Yes.
and talked about the Australian basketballers in the NBA, and just thinking now about him and how Josh Giddey is having a fantastic season this year. He must be super excited, but he's a real supporter of our channel and often comments on online and shares things with me in private messages as well about, oh, you should check out these basketball cards from New Zealand and that sort of thing. So definitely a big shout out to our friend Ben as well. And the last one I have is our Pokemon expert is my friend Kieran. So I still interact with him a lot online. So it'll be like once every couple of weeks that we'll send one another messages about how the Pokemon card collecting community is going, what's going to happen next in the market. I'm definitely hoping to have him on again soon, but I think life's just a little bit busy for him right now. But I definitely want to have another Pokemon chat with him because I feel like, and this is just my instinct, and I could be wrong, but I feel like because I've seen it before with sports cards, I feel like that Pokemon card market has peaked now, and now it's going to be that inevitable drop
Is
where
it?
people start leaving. Yeah, I can
Hmm.
see it, mate. I can see it, mate. The last couple of sets, they haven't been home runs. They've been missing a couple of key cards that I think if they had put in a single set would make them chaseable. And so, like the pull rates of the cards are a little bit easier to get than normal. And it's just the tone of people who are creating content in the community. It seems a bit flat. I could be wrong, but I love to talk to Kieran about it because I feel like that card collecting community now could be ready for a dip. It's overdue. Let's say that it's overdue because it's such a monster right now. It is dwarfing sports cards, and to be honest, I think the only way for that market to go is down, at least for the foreseeable future. But at the same time, like everybody says, and I understand it now, it's like buy the dip. If you know what sets are gonna hit, just in Pokemon, you buy sealed product and you hold on to it and you wait for 10 years and you 10x your money. So that's something that I'm watching from the sides and getting my dad in New Zealand to go into Costco over there and buy boxes of cards. And I'm like, Look, you can just be my storage facility. He's like, you're gonna have to pay me a couple of bucks to store these cards for you, mate. But it literally is one of those sorts of things where I think if you hold in that market, you can earn your cash. Anyway, the expertise that Karen's given to me and hopefully to others in who have listened to the channel has definitely improved my Pokemon knowledge like just 10x, 100x. Like I knew nothing in our first episode we were talking about. I'm like, I know the name Pikachu. That's about it. But now I kind of have an understanding of how that market works and how it literally is one, if you are smart about it, you can actually earn money with it. So thanks to Karen.
Um, yeah, I don't have any. I mean, there are others. I mean, maybe I won't. Well, I don't know. I mean, I am thankful for the famous people for coming on. Hoj,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Hoj is t totally my favorite. Just probably because of his who he likes, who he collects, like right up
Yeah.
my alley. But
Yeah.
um, but he's also extremely thoughtful. I like his intellectual approach. I think Dave too is very intellectual. I like you get all types. I mean, they're just like I like the thoughtfulness. Cage
Cage was
lawyers.
fantastic.
He came on. He's the first guy I followed in space. Still same consistent kind of voice of like, whatever, have fun, but like beware and be cool, whatever. And Mojo, he went to my high school. So it's cool to see a guy like that succeed in the industry, and
Hmm.
appreciate him coming on. So.
What do you think about, and I think this might even lead us to some of our questions. Uh, I think it was Barrick actually who asked. And when I say Barrick, it's probably his brother Bora. So Barrick and Bora are working together for their channel. And Bora asked basically, what are the future plans of Card Clan? But the second one I think is the bigger one that I want to answer. And he says, will we see any Hoopers in your future episodes? I've been thinking about that question a bit. Probably the one I've been thinking about the most because as you've seen me privately message you screenshots of me cold calling, emailing agents and and people in their DMs. So I've DM'd people from Grant Williams from the Charlotte Hornets, who's a massive card collector, to Carl Anthony Towns, to who's the other Aussie kid who collects? There's an Aussie kid who collects basketball cards too. Um, uh, I just keep thinking Dyson Daniels, but it's not Dyson. It's and Ben's gonna be like, why can't you remember his name? It'll come back to me later anyway. Exum, Dante
Not
Exum.
not Ben Simmons, I hope.
Well, I would love to talk to Ben Simmons. I mean, I think that would be a goal. I might actually reach out to Keith Kloss again. We've never done an episode with him, but he was our friend in Istanbul, and I did him a few favors here, kind of helped him earn a couple of bucks being a speaker at my school when he was only earning a few over there. So there's a chance that Keith could come on, and he's such a lovely guy, and he's an incredible storyteller. And I think there will be a real easy segue into card collecting too, because he's got stories about his cards. And what I found fascinating was when I talked with him, I would just show him a card, and he'd be like, "I remember that game." I'm like, "What?" It's a photo of him playing a generic basketball game, and he's played thousands of basketball games in his life. But he remembered the game, and not just to remember the game, but he would remember details from the game. And it's like if you've ever heard LeBron James talk about how a game worked and basically from beginning to end, he can run through a play and talk about where a guy was if someone was late or just small details like that. And apparently Larry Bird's exactly the same. So they have this really weird, almost savant-esque picture in their mind of how things have worked out in a game, and I think it definitely makes them elite in sports. Anyway, to answer Border's question, I'm sure it's Border. Are you going to have any basketballers in your future episodes? The dream is yes. So if any of our listeners are connected to a basketball person or a sports person or they have a lead, I would be more than happy to contact them and say, look, we have a little YouTube channel. We won't take you long. And if you just want to come on and just talk about your sport or for 20 minutes, it'll be great.
I like it. You have sent me these like fishing attempts.
Fishing.
It's cool. Why not? Nothing to lose. Um, yeah, maybe I'll reach out to a Kang or two.
That's it. Just throw the fishing line out there and see what happens. Very, very lucky you're not going to catch anything.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but for the chance that you do one time, I think it's worth it. This week I reached out to Kai Jones, who
Okay.
is now playing for Anadolu Efes. And so it'd be interesting to chat with him. I'll probably reach out again. I think just one fishing attempt doesn't do. You have to do multiple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've done the same with Taylor Horton Tucker's agent, who is actually Rich Paul, the guy who does Clutch Sports.
Yep.
I've sent Rich Paul a couple of emails. I've
Okay.
sent Taylor Horton Tucker a couple of Instagram messages. I've also, and you know this one, I've also reached out to Ryan Kalkbrenner,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
rookie for the Charlotte Hornets. Just
Yeah.
like, hey Ryan, you want to be on a podcast? I think it wasn't even him. Again, I'm looking up online and finding the agent's emails and just cold calling them, man. You never know. Like, just give it a crack.
Yeah.
And and I know that Barrick's brother literally met Mitch Richmond this week, and he has Mitch Richmond's agent's contact. So we'll see. I mean,
Okay.
Kings fan over there,
Yeah.
a Run TMC fan over here. It'd be awesome to have Mitch Richmond on the show. Anyway,
Yeah.
if you guys have any leads, like cricket people, rugby people, whoever it is, if you know someone and you're like, look, Will, John, just reach out to this person. It'd be fun. It'd just be something different for us.
So you mentioned cricket, and our friend Emir,
Mhm.
the star in the Card Clan.
Yes.
He asked, "What do you think is the most underrated or underappreciated sport in the hobby right now?" You got an answer for that?
Interesting. I do think it's cricket. I do. I think it's a rising star. I think it's going to be slow to begin with, but if there is a chance for all of these cricket players to kind of unite underneath one or two branches of one of these big companies, and there's a real opportunity there. I think the thing is that I've noticed with niche sports, and I talked about it with Justin in our last episode, is that you really have to have a clear pathway on how to organize your sets really well. Otherwise, I think that the companies will just give up. So I'll give you an example from cricket. 2 years ago, the Tops released a Cricket Legends set. And it was really cool because, like many niche sports, if they're kind of out of the public eye, you appreciate any big company coming in and having a crack at your sport. Anyway, they released that first set. It was super successful, sold out, all those kinds of things. This year, they released season two, and it's not doing nearly as well. And it's because it's the same signatures just on a card a year later. So the value for the secondary market on those cards has plummeted. So I think you have to keep things fresh. You can't just literally just copy paste that same formula with niches. You have to mix it up a little bit. You have to find new signatures in there. They've got a couple of new names to be fair to the Tops, but the cards look almost identical. Like it's a
Mm.
beautiful design, don't get me wrong. They have an action shot of the play in the back, and it looks really cool. And then there's an on-card order or a sticker order, and they do look really good, but it doesn't feel very different season to season. And I think there needs to be a difference. There needs to be a different kind of like approach to it, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah, because just the yearly uh, uh, yield of like rookies or stars. Like, and the NBA every year can have tons of products because there are new rookies or new players, moving
Hmm.
teams, all this thing. Like a sport like cricket, sure it has that within the Indian Premier League, but there just isn't enough audience to have enough
Well,
cards
I
to
don't
kind
think
of.
it's the audience actually. You're right. The IPL is huge,
Yeah,
but the IPL will not give up their licensing to a card company. So what Tops has ended up having to do is go, well, we can't get any current players, so let's get legends of the game. And what they ended up doing was
yeah,
going to one specific agent and saying, who are all of the players that you have? So basically the clutch sports of cricket. And he called them legends of the game. And there are some really, really great players, but they're not like the superstars. So there's a guy called Brian Lara, who I've talked about in the
yep.
past, Sachin Tendulkar, who you know. Those guys are the goats of cricket, and Shane Warne, of course, who was passed. You want to sit with those guys. If you're talking about legends of the game, there is a tier down from those three, and some people are doing a pretty good job. I think Tops is doing okay. They can improve though. But I do like Sports Connection. I really do. And Omar was gracious enough to come and talk to us about his brand. And I think he's doing it the right way because he understands as a card collector, because he's like a collector first. He's like, you know what? I just want to make cards that I like. So the design for season two or series two, which is supposed to be coming out later this month, and he said he'll even bring me some over. So he's supposed to come over here in December. Probably we'll open a box together. He's got some really cool designs. He showed me some previews. So I think one of his favorite things to do is to kind of pay homage to basketball cards in particular. So he's made cricket cards that are kind of, referencing downtowns, and cricket cards that are referencing color blasts, and cricket cards that are referencing the scoring kings from the 90s. So he's got a whole bunch of stuff like that. So a long, long, long answer, as I normally do. Cricket cards are underappreciated. Rugby cards are underappreciated too. And if they can move from niche to not quite mainstream, but just more regular, I think that those markets could rise a little bit. But cricket in particular, I think we talked about it on episode two, even saying that Indian card market is right there. And with the right promotion, it could definitely take off. And as I talked to Amit, Mr. Trade Card Gamer, about the Indian card collecting community, they have some really passionate collectors. But for me, it feels like they can just take a little jump forward. It's going to take off.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the answer. I looked up some numbers of the most watched sports in the world.
Hmm.
Of course, soccer, the low band, they estimated at 3.5 billion. Yeah, I don't know the validity of these numbers. It's more interesting, relative, at least for me. Number two is cricket. The low band there was 2.5 billion. So 3.5 for soccer, football, 2.5 for cricket. Basketball is 2 billion. And then fourth was field hockey, also at 2 billion. Field
Wow.
hockey. Like I had
Wow.
no idea that that was so big in, again, this is in India,
The Indian market.
Pakistan, like
Yeah.
that part of the world. And I had no idea. So I think clearly that's got to be the answer because I mean, I started looking at field hockey cards. There are a couple like Americans from, the US Olympic sets and that kind of thing. But I don't know if you have 2 billion people interested in the sport. Again, I don't think there really are 2 billion people watching field hockey all the time, or even 3.5 billion watching soccer all the time. But um, volleyball was number six at 900 million. So these kind of niche sports, I think, are kind of they're interesting, but they're so slow, and it does remind you that the card market is so American and Chinese driven.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's the world we're living in these days, of course. And maybe that's what this century is going to be. But um, how these kind of niche, more global sports, especially the South Asia part of the world, the subcontinent and beyond, um, if they can develop a card market, then yeah, then those are underappreciated for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
But getting there is going to be the trick, right? It's going to
yeah,
be able to, it's
yeah.
it's tapping into that market and building it and growing it, which is something that we're all too familiar with Turkey.
I mean, and it comes from, I think, this recent boom. For me, I have no concern about cards like going away or cards are going to be here. I mean, they've been around for 130 years or more, right?
Hmm.
But when I first got back in the early 2020s, it was, you know, out of control. Like, is this going to last? But I think it's going to last. And that's because you and I, in the 80s and 90s fell in love with collecting as kids. And now we're here and we're still in it. It makes us feel like a kid. We're back in it. And I don't see that changing. But how do you get that to happen for the first cycle of kids and cricket cards or, yeah, field hockey cards or whatever it is?
And you might not even see the benefits of it yourself. If
Right.
you are a producer in a company that go, all right, let's get into it. Let's get it started. If you establish it, it's a long game. So I think what Omar is doing is a smart move where he's making it a little bit more exclusive. So he's not overprinting, he's not overextending himself. He's really thought about it properly. He's got the backing and support of literally probably one of the top 10 cricket players of all time. I don't think I'm exaggerating in saying that Wasim Akram is right up there. Fantastic cricket player. Like this the stuff that he could do with a cricket ball, like you'd talk about legendary baseball pitches and that kind of thing. It was this guy. Like he could do everything with it. And it was just like this guy. And on top of that, he was menacingly scary. So I think having him as a business partner is pretty great. So yeah, I think cricket is definitely got the most room to grow. Whether it will or not is kind of anybody's guess. I would have thought a couple of years ago when we first recorded that I was kind of like, yes, it's going to take off, but it's going to take work. It's going to take more work than I thought initially. That's for sure.
Yeah, India is kind of a country everyone has been saying it's going to be the next China for decades.
Hmm.
So when is that actually going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, shall we jump into another question? So
Yep.
let's answer Ben's question. So Ben from SWAT Team Cards, again, former guest, has a couple of basically a two-pronged question. He says, "Hey gents, would love to hear your collecting origin stories. You both have diverse collections outside of basketball. I think that are interesting and want to know more about. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your story, John? I think I've heard it a couple of times, but any new twists to add?"
Really not that interesting. I mean, just so typical, like late 80s junk wax kid and left and was gone for 3 decades until the pandemic brought me back in. What got me into it was just, I think, I can't remember, to be honest, just but kids, someone, my friend or something, and there was a store nearby and you just buy packs at the ice cream store. And I don't know, I like sports, yeah, mostly baseball.
Yeah, interesting. I
Yeah.
think I've told you mine, and you must remember mine. So, my dad was working for the government, and they were giving out basically government loans to small businesses, specifically Pacific Island businesses. And so, one of the guys who came up to him was one of the people who wanted to open up a part of the franchise of Card Crazy. And my dad's like, let's see if this works. I've got an 11, 12-year-old kid who loves sports, who loves basketball. He's like, I've got basketball cards. So we went around to the guy's house, and I still can vividly remember like walking up and just going into the room of the next room of his house and floor to ceiling. It was just junk wax, Upper Deck basketball cards. And the guy convinced me Upper Deck is the big brand. That's the one. Don't worry about tops or other things. They're not as good. Flair, don't worry about those guys. Go with Upper Deck. So like, yeah, so I was a big Upper Deck fan just from listening to the guy who was importing the cards, which was not a silly move at the time. You're like, that's Jordan's brand. And they produce really nice cards. I think the reason why Upper Deck didn't survive long term, and there are a number of reasons, but I think that because they went all in on the hologram cards, where Tops went in with the chromium cards, it was game over after that. But and apparently Upper Deck was offered the chromium card option first, and they're like, no, 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 we're already in on the hologram cards, and the hologram cards are kind of like, but they're not that great. And I think if Upper Deck had maybe changed that decision, things could be different, or they couldn't be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're still around though,
Yeah.
but yeah, they lost the big battle, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
um,
How
yeah,
about the other half of his question about the diversity in your collection? So you do have quite a diverse collection. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and why
I
you've gone down those different routes?
can. I mean, yeah, I mean, I collect politics a little bit.
Hmm.
I have a couple Obama cards because I was really into Obama in 2008. I have.
Didn't you give Paul a Mitt Romney card, by the way?
Yeah, yeah.
That was
That
fun.
that was fun. I mean, I played water polo in high school and college, and so I think I have one of the best water polo collections. I mean, I posted these three. Like these are all 101s of Tony Azevedo.
Amazing.
He's the best American water polo player ever. Uh, got the Americas to a silver. That's the highest finish we've had. Um, it's like soccer a bit in water polo. We we can't, in this case, we can't beat the Balkan countries. And some of the Italy and Spain also are quite good. So yeah, I have kind of a nice water polo collection. This guy is this is a one of one basically. It's the only graded version of this 1973 card of you have this is the one of the a guy you have the
Yes,
yeah, yeah. But he was Jewish. It's called the KTAV Publishing, like Jewish Sports Champions. So he's in that set.
very cool.
Um, that one's pretty cool. These two are pair actually, same 1968 Panini stickers. The lady was my swim coach in Sacramento, and the one on the right, people probably know Mark Spitz.
Yes,
Before Michael Phelps, he was probably the greatest swimmer ever.
easily.
Um, and so those are kind of my more niche ones. I also brought out one other niche thing that I don't think I've showed off to people before, but this guy in Turkey.
Oh yeah, of course.
Quaresma, first football team club I ever supported was Beşiktaş. And so early on in the hobby, this rookie card is the same as this one. They're on the same team with Ronaldo. So it's a nice to have that pair. But this one is kind of the only. There are two good sets with Beşiktaş cards in it. This is Topps Museum 2017 gold version out of 50, but it's number seven, and his jersey number is seven. So
Perfect.
this card's awesome. So those are kind of my eclectic ones, I'll say.
And so to get to those eclectic cards, is it just basically interest based?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I feel like I'm one of the few looking for them. Uh, this guy Brian, who we had on early on from Portugal, he's into, I mean, Quaresma's Portuguese, so he and I kind of shared, we were looking for a card there, but yeah, you just, it's fun to collect non-mainstream guys because you have awesome collections. I mean, I feel like I have the best collection of these people in some ways, like the best cards.
I think my diversification started with you actually, because I was just solely NBA. It's like NBA all the way. I don't want football cards. I don't want anything else. And when we started kind of collecting together, we just noticed just how astronomical the prices were back then. And didn't even think that they were going to get this bad as well. So NBA in particular was always pretty prohibitive. I think it's better now if you have a guy who's not like a Steph Curry or a LeBron or a Jordan. You can probably or a Kobe. You can probably pick up some of their cards pretty cheap and get a nice PC like Ben has. He's got some great Dyson Daniels cards and some great Josh Giddey cards. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go ahead because the Daniels and Giddey cards that he had and the prices he got them for, just criminal, man. So that was pretty cool. But
Good guys to get cards of. I mean, they're both doing
yeah,
well.
well, yeah, that's it. And that's the secret of the Aussies, man. They are. I think just with Aussie sports people in general, they're just so skilled. Like, and they're just able to do a little bit of everything. Like Daniels just prides himself on being this lockdown defender. He hasn't had as good a season as last year, but he's still a monster, dude, on the defensive end. Scoring not as good this year, but you know what? Give him a little while longer, and he's going to be a little bit more consistent again. There's no doubt. He's really good at basketball. And his kid brother is playing in the NBL right now, and he's going to be eligible for the NBA draft next year.
Uh,
They are projecting that he'll go around 10, and so he should be fun to watch as well. But for mine, the diversity started when we were talking about how expensive the NBA cards were, and it's just like, why aren't you collecting rugby cards? I'm like, why aren't I collecting rugby cards? They sound cool. And so literally I started collecting rugby cards here in Istanbul with you. I was buying them all online, sending them to my dad's house. And then when I went to New Zealand, it just exploded, and I pretty much made the most of my opportunity there. So I got a whole bunch, and I've just got a couple of cards here. So I think if I were to think about myself as a niche collector, it's often New Zealand sports people that I want to collect as my niche. So obviously I've got a signed Lomu rookie card here, which is pretty great. Definitely very happy to get that one, but I'm actually kind of starting to get the itch and might want to try and upgrade that one if I can. And I've been talking to someone offline already. I'm like, I think I need to get a grade. I have a graded version of it, but I think I want it to the auto to be graded and the card itself to be graded. And there's a guy who has a card there, and I'm trying to see if I can maybe make a trade with him and get the raw card, and then maybe, trade him for a PSA 9 of that rookie card, which is hard to get. And obviously the Lomu Gold card, which is not going to show because my camera automatically just kind of loses its focus, but it's a great one, man. Very happy with that. And I could just go through again and talk about all of the New Zealand sports people that I have. But I've made a little video about it all before, but I think that's something that I look for, like great New Zealand sports people who I appreciated, from golfers to UFC fighters to cricket players to rugby players. I think after a couple of years, now I know that that is my the diversity in my collection. It's NBA, but even NBA is starting to narrow down now, and it's New Zealand sports people on top of that. Anyway, to finish off, Ben says, bonus point discussion, how you two came together and created this podcast. I think we've kind of already answered that without even answering it. And then he says, peace and congrats on getting this far. So again, Ben, I'm pretty sure you're going to be listening. Thanks for being so supportive of our channel, man. And if
Yes.
you feel the need to jump back on, please let me know. We can talk more about Aussie sports or something else, or even just an update on what you're doing. That'll be fun. It'll be fun to catch up with you.
Agree. Yeah, that reminds me. I was almost gonna get a. I mean, it was kind of speculative, but I also kind of wanted a Giddy card in Bulls. There was this one of one like
Ooh.
uh, optic, uh, and I got the guy to send an offer back, but then I saw it was like bought now, like 2 days later for the full price.
Ah,
So
ah.
I was being kind of like, because I don't think the Americans get how good he is. They just see
The
like, oh,
victim.
he
It's
can't
it's
shoot or something, like
yeah.
they said stuff like that about Jokic and he can't play defense. It's just like it's the same nonsense you hear all the time.
I
Like,
think the I think I've definitely come around to Denny Avdia. Same kind
yeah,
of player.
yeah,
Avdia is a better shooter than Giddy, but he's fantastic at basketball. They're
yeah,
both lots of fun to watch play too. They're just aggressive, and what I love about Giddy is that he's always pass first. He's like team first, let's go, and he's been fun to watch this year too.
yeah.
We do have just a couple more questions, and then I think we can wrap up after that, huh? Um, Again, this might be a Barrick question, or it could be Barrick's brother question. I'm gonna say this time it's Barrick, and he asks, "Do you have any Wonder Kids in your short list for future card investments? Is there anyone that you are you are lining up as a future Lamine Yamal of football, or
No, but
or an Alperen Şengün who we picked? That was an easy one.
seriously. Well, yeah, I mean, I do. There are a couple Turkish guys. Uh, I can't remember their names now. My friend Alper has me looking for him. I haven't looked in a while. I think it's Yildiz. No, it's not Yildiz. It's that's John something. Anyway, there are a couple Turkish football guys that are popping apparently.
Mhm.
Um,
Which is good for this market, because if you get
yeah,
them now, then you'll be able to sell them in Turkey.
yeah, and that's what I've been. I did buy one of them. I can pull up the name, but for me personally, the name I'm watching, the kid's in college this year. I think he's coming out this year, but it's Peja Stojakovic's son.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'll definitely have some fun there. You know, he already has high school cards or McDonald's All American stuff. So,
hmm
but I'll see where he gets drafted and do something like that.
Well, I think even that whole idea of speculating on sports players, especially in basketball, is really tough, because everybody just buys up their rookie stuff now. If you have a look at all of these cards from this new draft class and how much they are selling for with these one of ones on this Topps flagship, not even Topps Chrome, it's crazy, man. Like, even look at that Derek Queen, is that right? Is that his name? First name Derek?
Yep.
So his one of one sold for like over $1,000. And it's like, oh, it seems a lot for early on, but I don't know. He's really good at basketball. And just already we're kind of priced out with a lot of that. So maybe it's about getting the mid tier, like, number to 50 autos, or something else along those lines, and going from there. It's probably why I haven't been prospecting as much, because it's just like it's too much to begin with. Like, the entry on prospecting on a guy who very likely could get injured or not have as good a career as you think is very high.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible, and it's a little sad that way or something.
hmm
You almost have to wait until they, um, Yeah,
Year two,
three.
year three,
Yeah,
when they're kind of trudging and figuring things out, because they can always come back out the other side too, you know.
yeah,
Like think about Dyson Daniels didn't have a great rookie season, so Ben
yeah.
did really well with him. We did well with Schengen too because people were like, well, the draft class is so stacked with all of these other kids. Let's see how they go. But some of those guys in Schengen's draft class, like there are some that are overlooked. And now if you have a look, even like I looked at those photogenics cards and that draft class now, because of it, has made that box super expensive. Like it's like
Interesting.
three times more expensive than when I won it from who did I win it from? Pac-Man.
Interesting.
That was like $600 back then, and now I think it's like maybe 1,200, even more. Because
Okay.
it's just because that draft class is like it's hot right now. Like all of those guys seem to be popping, you know.
It's John Uzun is the name of the
Ah, no,
guy.
Jonathan. Yeah, yeah.
You heard of him? Okay.
Hmm.
I'm sure Burke has. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's not a bad one to get into. We got just two more questions, and I think it's nice that we have these last because they are a little connected. So we might as well ask them both together. It's from Steve Guinea. He's known as Professor Rare, but you can find him if you search up the Auckland Card Show. And the other one is from our friend John Eurofractor, and they're both about card shows. Steve asks, out of finding an absolute gem of a card, what's your favorite thing to see at a card show? And John asks, which card shows are on your radar in 2026? What do you think, man? You want to go first?
Um. Uh. Favorite thing is it's obviously meeting people, but
Hmm.
that story about Sardar Azmoun, like what if you didn't hear the episode, in Germany, this guy basically found the one of one of his favorite player from Iran, like this guy's Iranian, and it was like his 2022 World Cup one of one, like
Gold vinyl.
gold vinyl, beautiful card,
Yeah, that was
and
a good looking card.
just wow, how do you find that? And it was just random, kind of because we were talking to this guy who was German Turkish, so Barrick was I mean we were kind of like where are you from? So that kind of serendipity is just super cool. I mean that was just awesome. Yeah.
I'm with you, man. I think it's about interacting with people. Always is. That's supposed to be what card shows are all about. And I think the more card shows that I go to, the more I enjoy it. So even as a vendor, and even if you sell cards or not, the most memorable interactions I had when we were vending at the Istanbul Card Show, for example, was talking to people who loved cards. And I remember there was a guy who bought only a couple of cards, nothing big. But we talked about his favorite players for ages. He was talking about like Furkan Korkmaz and how he used to play basketball with him in school and all these sorts of little stories and I think that's all part and parcel of going to a card show. So yes, of course, the cards are the things that bring us there, but it's being able to interact with that community and just almost knowing that you're in a place where you're going to be able to make friends pretty easily. And you talked about it earlier about like the struggle is of making friends as a middle-aged man. It's the struggle is real, man. It's not that easy.
Struggle's real. Yeah, don't take it for granted out there, kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, man. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Uh,
Real kind of, coming out of friendships. But I feel like even just making a friend for a day at a card show is something that kind of makes you want to go back. Like I remember meeting those German brothers, and one of the brothers showed me his Pop One Bill Russell 10 auto 10 graded card. It was great, and just being able to chat with him about his eclectic collection of Latrell Sprewell cards, and I think you had the brother who was collecting, was it Larry Johnson cards, that kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah,
fun, man. Oh, Alonzo Mourning. He was doing Mourning. That's right. That
yeah.
was fun. And I think those are the things that I enjoy about card shows. I remember going to the Auckland Card Show a couple of years ago and like winning prizes. So that's also fun. Like being able to get freebies is something that is undervalued in card shows. And I don't think a lot of card shows do that well. The Auckland Card Show does. They definitely give really good goodie bags. And on the day, they're just that they have the stage set up and they're giving out cards. That's something that I think that Card Madness, the one that we've ripped into a few times, just didn't do. And it was just like it's weird. It's like these people paid good money to get into your show, and you're not like gifting them a goodie bag, or you're not gifting them like cards that they could win or just kind of get excited about it on the day. It's like, here's our show, here are our tables, buy the cards. Like it was very it was very transactional, man. And so
Yeah,
I
I feel
guess
like
that leads
I'm
to
used.
very mean. Very, but what about what card shows are on your radar, John, for this next year?
I think well, we're both for us is I want to go to London. It's been a while, and the London Card Show in April sounds good to me. I just yeah, I want to go to London. It's been friends there and stuff. So
Yeah,
um,
and I do too. So London Card Show, there's supposed to be an XL version of the show, meaning like the London Card Show I think happens quarterly now,
mhm.
but I think the April version is supposed to be the largest one. So we should definitely start looking into that now because it's 6 months away.
Yeah, I got permission, I think, from the
Ah, great.
boss
Yeah. Ah,
here at
great.
home. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can definitely get permission, but I definitely want to go to the London Card Show because I think the niches that I'm interested in are going to be there because they weren't in Germany. There were no cricket cards. There were no rugby cards. The only person who was interested in my cricket cards was Jamie, and
yeah.
he's going to be at the London Card Show. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, they like these cards over there. So I've got some cricket cards that I'd like to sell, and probably cricket cards I'd like to buy, and plenty of rugby cards I'd like to sell, and plenty of rugby cards that I'm hoping to find. So those will be definitely things that I'll be looking for in that card show. Plus, I think before we go there, I'll start scouting people and seeing if I can find some more. And our friend Justin, who I actually haven't thanked yet. So
Yeah.
another Justin, the one who is our vintage football expert, the one who I just did a boxing episode with. Thanks, Justin. It's so much fun to have him as part of the channel now, and him doing a few episodes definitely takes a bit of pressure from us. Obviously, with the new baby in the picture, he hasn't been on as much as he would like. But I know for a fact that he would love to go to the London Card Show because there's plenty of vintage boxing cards there. And I've been looking at some of these sellers in the UK, and they are really very cheap. Some of those big name boxing cards. So I might pick myself up a nice Jack Johnson rookie card if I can too. So
Yeah, I feel like the material there, the what's the word, kind of struggling. Anyway, the cards that you can find there won't be the ones that I want. And John has even said that. Basketball cards aren't going to be great there, but so might have to think about maybe a I don't know, boxing card or something. Yeah.
yeah, or just I don't know. There should be plenty of football cards. So
There should be. That's true.
yeah,
I'm sure I'll
plenty of
find
football
something along
cards.
those lines.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
that's right. But I think just like you said, the trip to London, having the weekend there, a couple of days at the card show and doing other
Yeah.
things there sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um,
And speaking of shows, we
yeah.
are going to be having a trade day at the end of this month. So we might have talked about it, but we're gearing up for it. So we have a trade day on the 21st, just before Christmas, just before New Year's for Turks. We've got a whole bunch of cards coming in from the States with our friend Emiat. He's going to be hopefully getting them through customs. And I got a big ComC order coming through. So he's going to be coming through and bringing the cards with him. And we're going to hopefully, and we've talked about this before, trying to do our sales of graded cards because there just aren't enough here in Turkey. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll report back on it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to
No, shared enough. I'm losing my words, so uh
share?
probably a good place to wrap up.
That's right.
But just yeah, I can't believe we did 100 episodes, man. Awesome.
I agree. And thanks again to people who have taken the time to listen to us, as you said. Thank you so much to all of our guests. There were almost 100 of you. And so apologies mention you by name, but we did go through our list this week and we do appreciate all of you. And John and I have talked off air about a few of you as well. So thanks again to all of our guests from the past. If you are wanting to join us for an episode just to talk about cars, please reach out to us. It would be amazing for us not to have to keep reaching out to people. Just some going, look, let's do an episode. And there's been a couple of times, to be fair. I know Neil did that. He reached out to us.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there was a guy Mike who reached out to me and asked about Justin, and we did some vintage boxing episodes with him, which was awesome because he doesn't really do the do the Spotify podcasting, but he somehow stumbled across an episode of Vintage Football Cards, and he reached out and he's like, "Look, I loved it. Can you do some more?" I'm like, "I don't really know much about it. Do you want to come on?" He's like, "Okay," and it was amazing. So yeah, definitely on board if you want to talk cards. It doesn't even have to be a global angle. We can just talk about cards, man, because it's fun.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, bud. Let's leave it there, huh?
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.